NFT is a useless technology. It is very difficult for average person to understand how useless NFTs are. We believe in reasonableness of action. If there is so much noise about this technology, if you can't even call it technology, is it doing anything useful? Actually no, it doesn't do anything at all. It records a cryptocurrency transactions and attaches arbitrary data to it. That's it. The transaction is said to give ownership rights to the attached data, but there is no mechanism to give legal effect to those ownership rights. That said, the data is often an abstraction of or simply made up. Suppose you own a gun from the video game. In reality, the gun may not exist. There may be no way to carry it, shoot it, or even look at it. Functions like this are not hardwired into NFT. They rely on external infrastructure that exists independently of NFT. If you're wondering what role NFT itself plays in it, it plays nothing. It takes the fool's money from a monopoly. You own monkey JPEG, but you don't really own it. A link has been added to your NFT pointing to the monkey. The part of the server where it's stored doesn't belong to you. You may not have any way to affect that image in any way. But if you can delete that JPEG, move it, hide its location from public, prohibit other people from downloading, copying, modifying, or distributing the JPEG, in what sense do you own it? In no sense. You own the ledger entry that says you paid so much cryptocurrency to a smarter person, but there are also an image of monkey at such and such a link, which may not be true. If the book entry itself is immutable, then the data to which it points does not have the property. Your picture of monkey relies solely on social agreement since you have no way of securing possession of it. Similarly, you can buy a special gun in Ghost Recon Wildlands. It will belong to you and you can do whatever you want with it, at least if the person who made the gun allows you to do so, since the data is controlled by him, not you. If you want to buy back some code associated with NFT, you might be able to do that. If you want to do something else, say drag your gun into Fortnite, you'll find that Fortnite does not have to create an imported gun for you. But if your gun from Ghost Recon Wildlands is just a DLC gun for the Ghost Recon Wildlands, what was the point of making NFT in the first place? None. NFT has no purpose. We already have a much better working DLC infrastructure. It's useless technology. It's weird for technology to be useless, but it literally does almost nothing. And one thing it does, an immutable ledger entry, is not very useful for any of the case people like to talk about. In fact, when exploring the concept of non-interchangeable tokens, you need to focus on the word token. A token is a data. It is what differentiates NFT from a regular cryptocurrency transaction. A token is a useless object that in theory can be exchanged for a useful one. What happens to all your slot machine tokens when the arcade closes? You'll just have a pile of useless tokens. Virtually no NFTs correspond to any values for which token could be exchanged. There have never been any such values. No one's going to do anything when someone offers him his token. Today, most NFTs are sold under the claimer of pathetic claims that someday there will be a magic shop where these tokens can be exchanged for all sorts of treasures. But will there be any shop? We don't know, and in many cases it simply cannot exist. In the small number of cases where such promises are not impossible for technical, logistical, or legal reasons, the thing that token promises to support already exists in a much more convenient way. NFTs will be able to bring world, images, music, and video together, creating a new kind of literature. It's called a website, Homestuck. You just describe an interactive comic book Homestuck. What are you going to do with the value token in one Homestuck? Who's going to give you a token of value in one Homestuck? You could sell the token to someone else, but then what would they do with it? The only use for stuff is to sell another fool stupider than you. In fact, for these tokens to have any value in real life or sense of world, that is to become useful for some purpose, but there needs to be some entity that agrees to accept and proceeds them. If the token refers to a gun in video game, the video game must provide the infrastructure to process it. If the token refers to an issue of a comic book, the publisher of that comic book must provide the infrastructure to process the token and give its owner access to the comic book. And you've probably noticed that by now the DLC version in games, online comics, all without any NFT. You've noticed that quite correctly. What new things do NFT give us? Their only innovation is that the token is digitally unique. If the infrastructure that supports it exists and works, it can be traced back to the blockchain. So it brings back to us one of the disadvantages defeated by digital data distribution: scarcity. Why do we need digital scarcity? The answer: you don't need it if you're not speculating in the marketplace. Let's go back to the comic book. Let's say Marvel picked up an infrastructure to link Spider-Man tokens for Spider-Man comics. Then you're faced with the financial setup for the whole scheme. If your token serial number is unique, your Spider-Man comic book will not be unique. It will be the same 593rd issue of the Amazing Spider-Man comic book that people will read in all comic book stores. Pirated versions of the same issue will be distributed on the torrents and websites. You have a token code. This is a digital copy of Spider-Man comic book 445, but nobody cares, especially people who want to read the comic, and the comic can be copied endlessly and very easily. Collectors don't need such tokens because it will only matter until Marvel loses interest in this program, and then they close the program or just overload their servers and break the URL to which the token refers. Well, then Arcade will close. Collectors will prefer the paper comic because physical scarcity is not an artificial concept. So celebrities claim to buy pictures of doll monkeys for hundreds or thousands of dollars. Then many people consider the entire NFT market a pyramid bubble and trying to accuse the people involved in its promotion of collusion. Non-fungible tokens. They are a way to quickly and reliably transfer ownership of digital art objects via decentralized blockchain, or at least what NFT enthusiasts tell us. In fact, buying a token of a fancy picture most often makes you the happy owner of a link to some place in the internet where the cherished JPEG lies. Or maybe not anymore, you do not control the server, right? But does not give you any exclusive rights to use this picture or limit other people to use it. That is, at most you can put the cool cat you bought for a few tens of thousands of dollars on Twitter account and feel a wild bang as you watch others do the same thing for free. Bored apes. All apes are cool, but some are more cool. NFT are set up so that almost anyone can issue new tokens for almost anything and start selling them to other people. The most popular NFT that sell at the moment is Bored Apes or Doll Monkeys. Basically, its creators hired several artists who drew individual elements of the monkeys, images in the same style, muzzles, clothing items, heads, glasses, etc. Then these elements were assigned varying degrees of rarity, and a special algorithm generated 10,000 unique pictures by automatic recombination of such bricks. The current minimum price of any doll monkey, even one that does not contain any rare elements, is $300,000. It turns out that the entire collection is worth at least $3 billion, and considering that the most expensive monkey was sold at auction for $3.4 million, well, do the math in general yourself. How monkeys came to success. Why are some NFT collections worth billions of dollars while others are about nobody's business? It's simple. The decisive factor determining the value of an NFT is the amount of hype that surrounds it. After all, if a monkey JPEG lacks any reasonable measure of interesting value, the only thing to look at is the amount of attention it gets from all other 7 billion intelligent monkeys. So it's not surprising that Bored Ape is doing well. It seems that by now every self-respecting American celebrity already has a monkey of its own. Last month there was an episode of Jimmy Fallon's The Tonight Show in which the host, the Paris Hilton, bragged to each other about their monkeys in a very cringe-worthy and unnatural way. And these guys are by no means alone here. Eminem, Justin Bieber, Paul Logan, and many others have acquired NFTs with the Moody Monkeys. How did it happen that all these people, let's face it, not the most sophisticated in the blockchain, became interested in tokens? Reptiloid conspiracy exposed. A few days ago, there was a curious piece of the Read Max blog. It turns out that a fair number of these NFT evangelists among celebrities are by strange coincidence working with Creative Artist Agency, which in turn has a stake in OpenSea, an NFT sales pitch with a current valuation about $13 billion. A few interesting points from Max investigation. Jimmy Fallon represents CAA, which has a stake in OpenSea. Ashton Kutcher is also a CAA client and his own independent stake in OpenSea through his company Sound Ventures, and he and Mia Kunis also currently saw a TV series called Stoner Kittens, which you can only watch by buying corresponding NFT. Kutcher will star in the romantic comedy Your Place or Mine with Reese Witherspoon, who is a major World of Women NFT apologist as well as the wife of one of the CAA agents. The Kutcher is a partner in Sound Ventures music management by Guy Osseri, who owns a peer pop platform for TikTok influencers, collaboration with celebrities like the same Paris Hilton, who just happens to use peer pop. If you want to get rich on NFT, here's a rough recipe for success. You invest in a company that has a de facto monopolized the market for buying and selling NFT. All the talk about decentralizing blockchain is great, of course, but if you want to do NFT seriously, you'll have to do it in very centrally through OpenSea. Agree with a bunch of celebrities to go everywhere and tell them how they spent a lot of kilobucks to buy NFT monkeys and now can't live without them. That said, some of people doubt that celebrities actually spend their own money on these purchases. It's possible that they were just lent crypto for purpose. After all, it will come back in the right purse later anyways. The more informationals, the more people talk about NFT, the more people want a moody Bibiziana to be like Eminem. Some kind of Arab magic is going on. Profit, you own 13 billion stake in the company. How to go on living, and it is the same to complain to the United Nations. On Twitter, many immediately got fired up. People suggested complaining about celebrities to the US Consumer Financial Support Protection Services for advertising without informing them of a hidden conflict of interest. But in general, the ethical line here is not very clear. If some famous soccer player has to drink only Pepsi and furiously praise the drink in public everywhere according to his advertisement contact, it's okay. But to walk around and show his crypto monkey everyone is not okay? In the end, they don't urge everybody to invest into NFT in order to get rich. Such hidden advertising could really raise questions. So in my opinion, their conspiracy theories about Freemasons and reptiloid industry manipulating the crypto markets from the world behind the scenes will be most part remain a fun rather than a cause for legal action. By the way, an even more cheerful sketch of the same subject in the theory that the whole Bored Ape Yacht Club was created by hidden Nazis in the image of the Totenkopf division. But here you read it at your own risk. They can put you in a jail for this in any country in the world.